Hello everyone, my name is Megan and today I'm presenting my extended abstract, which is about player problem-solving strategies while playing a single-player game in the same physical space as other people. In our case, we were using The Witness. The Witness is a commercial puzzle game released in 2016 by Thekla Inc. It involves players solving a series of puzzle panels, starting off quite easy at the beginning of the game and progressively becoming more difficult. Some of the puzzle panels involve symbols, and players need to essentially begin by using trial and error on easier puzzles to figure out what those symbols mean and what the rules are. Which rules are associated with which symbols. Towards the end of the game, some of the different concepts and symbols are combined to make puzzles even more difficult than previously. We based our research on previous work by Ayakovids, who looked at player problem-solving strategies observed while people played through Portal and Portal 2. They found 6 strategies, which were the ones on the left there, were used when players played alone. And then there were 3 strategies which were only observed when players played together in the cooperative mode in Portal 2, which you can see there. Please go see their paper for more on these strategies in detail. What we found in our research was that even though players were playing a single player game and then in the same physical space, each on their own device, we observed them using the same strategies as the cooperative play. So they used knowledge exchange, guidance, and surrender or take control. Even though they weren't in the same game together, they would just happen to be playing the same game in the same space, in the same room, before COVID. So I will just quickly run through what these 3 strategies are and show you examples of how these worked in the single player context. So with knowledge exchange, this was when 2 or more players were sharing information about a puzzle and working on it together to solve it. For knowledge exchange, this differs from guidance in the sense that both or all of the parties involved, all of the people involved, are sort of working from the same level of knowledge, so no one knows the answer to the puzzle and they're all working together and sharing their ideas and information to try and solve it. So these 2 people were looking at the same laptop screen and trying to solve the puzzle together. In guidance, guidance is a little different in the sense that 1 or more of the people involved has solved the puzzle, so they are more knowledgeable than the other people involved, and they are giving hints or guidance to the other people in the conversation. And often this would help happen when people in the room were at different points of playing their game, and they would look over or help someone else who was earlier in the game than they were. The 3rd strategy was surrender or take control, where 1 player would take over the controls of another player's computer. In this case, L and W were looking at the same screen. L asks W to take over, and W had already solved these puzzles previously, so W does them quite quickly with L watching on and learning. W then passes the controls back to L. This was rarely seen and was seen much less often than guidance and knowledge exchange. We did see some interesting differences between adolescents and the undergraduate students who were our participants, even though we weren't necessarily looking for these differences to begin with. Some of the novices had not played first-person games on a PC before, so they took longer to learn the controls and were more used to touch-based interfaces. They were asked for help more often and worked with others readily. Experts were more likely to be comfortable with the controls. They carried over strategies and knowledge with them from previous gameplay experience. Interestingly, they didn't often ask for help and saw it as a point of pride that they wanted to finish the game without asking for help. And some of them expressed a dislike for puzzle game genre as it wasn't what they usually play. So what we basically concluded is that the social context of play, or who is in the room, can make a big difference to the gameplay experience for the player. Co-located play, so players use the same strategies as those seen in cooperative play, and undergraduates were more reluctant to ask for help than teenagers. Future work which would be interesting to look at is co-located play in spaces such as classrooms, and further exploring the differences between adolescents and adults in their problem-solving strategy use. Go see our paper for the full list of references. Thanks for listening.